Okay, so the purpose of this video is to kind of instruct and guide anyone through taking the EGR valve out. I've had an issue with getting this dang thing out for a long time now, and so I went ahead and bought a new one, hoping I can get that in there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just go through the step-by-step process of getting all the parts out necessary to get access to gain access to the EGR valve, because it's a pain in the butt if you've tried it before. So this will be in segments. It may abruptly split to one video to the next, but it will make sense. So the first thing to tackle with getting this valve out is to take the air intake tube off, and really all you need is just a normal screwdriver, and we'll go with that. And you got a screw right here that is linked up to the air filter and the sensor as well. That needs to come out. You just need to loosen it, don't take it out all the way. Okay, and right down there. Let's see if I can, there we go. Okay, so that just needs to be loose as well. I got a scratchy throat. It does not need to be unscrewed all the way. Alright, and then this thing right on top of the actual air intake tube, that needs to be gently pulled out. It may be a little difficult to pull out if you've never pulled it out before. And then this piece right here, just pull that out. Okay, so once you have this tube pulled out, and you have this pulled out, and you have the screws loosened, you can pretty much maneuver this thing off. And there we go. So that's the first step, getting that off. Okay, so the next step is getting the sway bar removed, because what I'm going to go ahead and do is remove that and then go about removing the battery, so I have a lot of space underneath the throttle body with attempting to get the EGR valve out. Right now I have an 11, or not an 11, but a 17 millimeter socket. You can also use an 11/16 socket if that works for you, if that's all you have. But yeah, all you have to do is just try and take all 4 of these bolts out, which you may have to apply some pressure, because if this thing hasn't been taken off in a while, it's going to be tight. I'm going to go ahead and take those off. I'm not going to make a video of it because I'll have to use both arms to get these bolts off. Okay, so I got all 4 bolts off with the 17 millimeter socket, and so this thing should just pull right off, like so. Okay, so now that we have the air intake tube removed and the sway bar removed, what we need to remove next is the battery. And refer to the owner's manual if you need assistance with this. But basically what you're going to need to do is connect the negative end first, and then the positive end. Once you have the negative end disconnected, and it's important for safety reasons to disconnect the negative end first. And what you'll need is a 10 millimeter socket and a wrench, obviously, and you will just loosen it like so. Okay. And got that end off. Alright, so let's go to the positive end now. And just gotta maneuver this thing out of the way. and that should just slide right off, like so. So now both of those are disconnected, and now what we need to do is remove this bad boy, or at least it looks like it. I don't feel like fishing for anything, so alright, so we got that taken off. Alright, so don't need the loose side. Just take these two 10mm bolts off and pull this off. That's dirty. Okay. And of course that happens. Alright, so you should be able to just pull this casing right off at this point. So this plastic piece that's around the battery, that should just pull right off like so. And that pretty much exposes the entire battery. Okay, and this thing should just come right up. And there's your battery. So now we have all of this room to work with getting the EGR valve out. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and I'll start on the next segment, which will be moving some of these wires out of the way and getting the EGR valve plug off and all of that good stuff. Oh, I accidentally paused the video, but yeah, still getting this off. You just gotta push down on the clamp on it, and there you go. So now the valve is completely exposed, and looks pretty rusted. Okay, so I got the EGR valve plug off. One thing I wanted to kind of highlight, because I think it's worth it, because it gives you some more clearance. There's this cable, or this tube right here, and it's in the way of getting to the bolts. I mean, you know, not bad, but for anyone who has that issue, this cable, not cable, whatever you call it, the tube, it runs underneath this. And as you can see, it's right there, and it goes down here. Now there's some pull in this, so what I did was, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up like so, and it basically got it out of the way, because it was right there, and by pulling this cable forward, you can just kind of move it out of the way. And like I said, others may not have that issue. I just thought it would be important to highlight on, because some people may look at that and be like, wow, there's still not enough clearance. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again and see what I can start on from here. Okay, so now we're ready to get the valve off. What I ended up doing was I sprayed a couple coats of WD-40 and I let it sit for 15 or so minutes, just as a necessary precaution to try and get it off. First things first, you actually want to make sure this is set correctly, because probably for about an hour I kept trying to pull that bolt off, and turns out I had it switched the wrong, or flipped the wrong way, so I was actually tightening it, not loosening it. You'll quite literally want a ratchet as small as this, and I'll show you. I'm going to go ahead and get this under here. I actually already loosened up one of the bolts, so this will just serve to show you exactly what to do. But I can't really get a good shot of this. Okay, so there we go. If you can see, that ratchet needs clearance so it can go even below this. So if you have a ratchet that is wanting to be longer than that or whatever and go over this, and you're not going to be able to angle that properly, you have to have something as short as this. So at this point, once you get enough leverage or pull, you can loosen it up and pretty much pull it out. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for this. Okay, so second bolt is probably one of the more difficult of the two to get out. But once you loosen it, which I had to literally take my hand and take both hands and pull with all my might to get the second bolt free. But really having a very tiny ratchet helps out with this, because there's absolutely no space down here. But yeah, at this point I'm just trying to loosen the thing all the way. And once I have it out, I'll go ahead and have a new video segment. So here is the old EGR valve. I was able to get it off. Keep in mind this gasset's going to fall off as well, which you'll need to purchase that separate. So at this point, we've gotten it successfully out now, and I'm ready to install the new one right there. And hopefully this will fix some of the issues I've been having with this car. Fingers crossed. Alright, so I went ahead and actually already installed it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you have the valve actually pulled out, you pretty much have to play cat and mouse game here, where you need to line up the screws with the intake manifold and screw it back in, which is just a matter of patience and getting the screws lined up properly. The thing to keep in mind though is, when you have the new gasket sitting on top of the EGR valve, make sure that it's angled properly when you are trying to screw it back in, because it can kind of slip out of place, and you'll want to make sure that it's over all four holes properly. But yeah, that's the new EGR valve. If you've gotten to this point, you might as well take some throttle body air intake cleaner and open that up, and take a toothbrush or whatever and clean that out. And at this point, you can hook everything back up in opposite order from the way I unhooked everything. The only difference is you'll have to hook the positive end of the battery up first and then the negative, whereas in the beginning of the video you had to unhook the negative and then the positive. So hopefully this video helped you all. I'm glad I finally got this done, and I'm hoping this will fix some of the rough idles / minor stalling issues that I've been experiencing with this car.